And I think for me, what I'm recognizing is that there is energy flow going on between me and other people in every interaction that I have. I think some people may have stronger energy than others. Some people I have a more intimate connection than with others. So the impact of the energy exchange is stronger with some people than with others. And I don't know if they realize it or not, but I have to work through how this is affecting me because I had this similar experience with this person and I take on so much. I want to help her so much in these situations that after our conversation last time and then this week, I was like down, anxious, um, sad, like just like I felt like almost like broken. And she even joked about it when she was like, I need some Christine time. I need to chat this out with someone. And I really hope that it doesn't bring you down like it did last time. Yeah.
That
So
was
I'm
red
not like,
flags already. That you might be, that's the energy that you put out
yeah,
there.
but that I put out there.
That you might be drained. So the part that I I don't think I'm experiencing energy that way. But what part of you're giving? It's like
Yeah.
you're giving something that belongs to you. Like when I now that I'm interacting with you, I'm with an open heart listening, and I'm giving you all my attention and all my love, and I'm really into this moment. But you're not taking anything from me. All the opposite. All the opposite. I expand. I feel more joy in my life because I'm connecting with you, and you are coming with the struggle. But I don't understand how I connect and you connect. That for me, these type of things made me grow and feel even better. Like I finished my conversation with you and I'm ready for the next one if I had one. It's not the case, but um, so it will be interesting to understand how I am connecting that. It makes me grow the idea of sharing with you, but for you, it's like something is sucking from you, it's debilitating you. Instead of growing in love, you are giving something that belongs to you and you're not supposed to be giving. I think it
Yeah.
will
And
be,
I can't figure out if it's with everyone or with in certain situations, not in it doesn't, then it would be regardless of who it was. But if they really came to me and were like needing something, that in that situation I give too much. I just, or if it's with specific
but
people's and
when you say you give too much, what is that you're giving? And with what intention you are giving?
yeah, see, it's all muddled. I don't
I
know.
think I think that's the part that we should like dig deep, because the idea that I'm getting is the more I give, the more the light recharges me. So I'm actually hoping for that moment to give, because I know that more new light, bright air will fill me in, right? So
Mm,
I'm hoping for opportunities to have those, to be able to give. But but it goes from me out, and it doesn't remove what I have within, or the opposite. So
I'm wondering if it's more, if there's also an aspect of me absorbing their energy, like relieving the burdens from them by taking it on myself.
So, but in that way, in that case, will not be you giving, but it will be more like an exchange.
because I like the anxiety feelings and stuff. That's not me. Like I'm not normally an anxious person. And so the next day, both times that I can remember in the last few months, the next day I woke up and I was like, that is not me.
So
And I
you're
was,
taking.
yes. So there's also that aspect going on. Like, and I'm wondering if it's just I'm not consciously in the moment when I'm interacting with these people and trying to help them, that I'm not conscious
Okay,
of,
I got it. I got it. It's not coming from me. You mentioned you are trying to help them.
yeah,
So you are invested. You are going with a mission. You are not flowing through the conversation. You are entering that interaction with ego mind. You are
yeah,
there to help. You want to be the savior.
yeah, because I do recognize that like there's this, okay, I have to do something for them because they're coming to me. And there is that aspect of God, what if I can't do something for them? And so
See,
I
when
there
when we are connecting, when you said I'm going through this yesterday, and it's like, okay, let's connect. I wanted to hear. I wanted to connect with you. I wanted to be present with you, but I did not connect with the idea of I wanted to help you. Help. I know I feel a little bit guilty, but helping you was never the intention of me connecting with you. It was about being present and listening and and enjoying this time with you, and
yeah,
like expecting something beautiful happen just because we are connecting, but not with the intention of fixing a problem. And
yeah,
I'm wondering if when you enter that into a connection with someone, if you are coming with an intention of fixing or
oh, for
helping or
sure,
healing, or it's like
sure.
you have an expectation.
Yes, for sure,
Okay.
totally true. Um, they're mowing the lawn next door now, and Theo's just sitting on the couch watching. So he may lose his mind, but he's being.
Whatever.
That's totally true. But why does it affect me so strongly?
Okay, I was on the phone with my teacher earlier today, and we just, of course, coincidences, right? We just were talking about this. Going through life, flowing through life, everything looks good. But there are two things that really complicate the flowing. One, and I wrote it down, expectations.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we talked about this last week. As we walk that path, we have seeds in our packet and we are
Mm-hmm.
planting seeds. Okay. What is expectations? Expectations is to plant one seed and then wait to see how that seed grow instead of moving to the next one. So expectation creates delays. Okay. Why? Because we don't move to the next one until we see what was happening with the first one. And the idea was to plant one, move to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So expectations is the problem because it doesn't allow you to flow. You are always doing something and waiting to see what happened with that thing that you did. You don't move to the next one. The other thing is judgment. Because as we walk and we are planting, then we turn around and we looked what is coming out of the seeds. We talked about this last week, right? But now, then we judge what is
Yeah.
coming out. And then we will say, I like it, or I enjoy it, or I don't. And if you don't, then you kind of start doubting if that's your path, if you should be planting the seed. So when you start judging, again, you stop the flowing because now you have to understand what's happening with the things that you did. And if you don't like it, that discourages you to move forward.
Yeah.
So as we flow, there we have to remove expectations and judgment. I wish I can show my board, because I like every idea that come, I'm writing there, and that became a mess now. But one day I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna do something with that information.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
what is your expectations when you start a conversation with something, and how you are judging yourself, the other person, and the situation?
And you know what's really interesting? So I'm going to talk to my friend because I think her dilemma was all about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So going into a relationship, wanting to help with the expectations of certain
Expectation.
things coming from it, and then judging how much she has given, but also how the other person is receiving it and respecting it and acknowledging it. So it's all about that. But for me too, one of the things that kind of like really bothered me, and it was good that we talked about it. I'm not saying that there's anything that I would change in the discussion or
Mm-hmm.
interaction, right? Because I see it all as me, like this is like my mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing this, there's something in this, there's something here I need to look at.
There's a lesson there.
Oh, totally, multiple.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that she shared was one of our last workshops we did together with another friend, and how it completely fell flat. And how I recognized that I was stepping in to take over where other people were pulling back because they didn't have the time, or they were doubtful, or so I always step in to carry the burden. I always step in to fill the gaps that other people are leaving behind, to make it easier for everyone, because I see the need for it. And I'm starting to step back more. So with them, I was stepping back more, but in the actual facilitating of the workshop, I filled in the gaps. So I took the responsibility for it, and then it fell flat. And so again, I had the expectation, and then I judged what I had given. And it's that inside, it's like inside of each lesson is another lesson. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, like multiple layers of it.
So I think there is this part of what gives you joy. So if helping others and being that mother that fixes everybody's life gives you joy, then there is nothing wrong with it. Just go and fix everybody's life. But again, have no expectations that people will change or give you even a thank you. Then don't judge if what you did or you didn't do was okay. Just you did out of love. You show your life. You allow your heart to shine bright because it makes you happy. And in that way you can, fix everybody's life, or at least from your point of view, because you don't know if really the other person is understanding and how the other person, what they're going to do with what you are offering. But at least you are offering, so you are living from your own joy.
You
You're
know, I
doing
have
something coming out of joy.
I have to say there are elements in there, like when I think back to when I was working on committees, and I had to work on committees, which I hated. But it's all about, we have this report that needs writing. We need this subcommittee. Who's going to head it? Um, Even like thinking about Sophie being in school, she wanted to do brownies and Girl Scouts. And I went to the parent meeting, and it was like, well, it's not going to happen unless we have parent volunteers to run the different troops. I had no interest in doing that, but I ended up being the secretary for the whole district, and I think a lot of that comes into this
You are
idea.
being, yeah, you are becoming someone that is not aligned with your true self.
Totally wasn't.
That's it.
But
That's draining.
now I'm just unraveling that. But so now, before I was doing it because I was conditioned, that's the belief that I had, that if you were productive and you were part of a group, you contributed and everyone carried their loads, and there were certain people that were leaders and they were the ones that you aspired to. And so I took on these roles and roles and roles, and I hated every single one of them because it's not who I like. That's not who I am. I'm not someone who likes to be the one that's always talking and in the front of the room. I'm not someone who I like to do things and work together with people, but not mindlessly. Like,
Yeah.
and so it was like killing my soul. It really was. So now I'm
That is
unraveling.
what drains you, Christine, to get into someone that you are not.
Yeah, but now the question of what makes you happy and do
Well,
what makes you happy is like, I can't answer that quite yet when it comes to how I want to interact with other people.
okay. What would you like if you call one of your friends? What friends would you like to call today? What
You,
friend well, we're talking. So you're talking, this conversation is aligned with who you are.
yeah,
You discovered something. Are you enjoying recording this video and probably posting this video? This
yeah,
is who you are. So you doing this activity is part of your alignment. Your heart feels happy. So get a sticker. It's yours. You got it. So what
and
do you want to do next? What will be your next thing when we're done with this video?
I'm going to have time to myself. I want time to myself.
There you go. You went from one thing that give you joy to the next thing that gives you joy.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to live all day because I'm going to have to eventually cook today, and I do not like to do that. But the thing is, after having this conversation with you that I really, really like look forward to, then I'll be all happy. And all that energy will help me, deal with the things that I'm not loving doing, like the maintenance things, the things that you have to do because, you are in physicality. So if we are having this fun now, and then you're going to have time for yourself, then you will be all charged. So you might be able to deal with something that's not super happy for you to do. But you are already charged. You charge yourself with things that you love.
And this now it's brought me back to one of the big messages I got this week. And I haven't shared it yet. But I had the message that I need to start taking the easy way out. And we're always taught that, like, don't take the easy way out. Like, that's being lazy. You're not working hard. You're not sacrificing to get what you want, right? Like, it's the opposite of what we've been taught. But I really realized, I don't know what it was this weekend that triggered it. And then this whole experience with my friend and seeing how she was struggling and struggling and struggling with this. And then I started struggling with my own things. And just now, when you said, do you like this conversation, like doing this thing where we're recording what we're talking about and putting out there? And I said, it's easy. Take the easy way out. Like,
Why? Where
don't,
that concept of sacrificing ourselves and cutting an arm to get something done came
yeah, like
from?
life is a struggle and
Why?
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I find myself really moving in my life when I do things that I love, and it seems like things start aligning and I'm start flowing. Usually when I'm trying to push something, like going against the wind because my ego mind said this is the way it should be, I always ended up in some kind of mess. Right? But then there is this other current of wind sending me in a different direction that I was not even planning, that I'm not even expecting, that I just face what life is presenting and I get that thing done just because it's like, oh, it seems like I can do it. And then
Mhm.
from that thing, I jump to the next one, and it seems like my life start finding a new direction. So, I was one of my friends from Uruguay. She said, "I'm going through some trouble. I want to learn Kabbalah and all that kind of stuff." And for me, it was like, well, I never did it in Spanish, and I was like, well, if you have some few friends that I wanna, bring to the group, I'll start teaching. So I never planned. But it seems like now I have to translate everything that I have in English to Spanish. which I kind of thought I was going to do it one day, but I was always procrastinating. But now life presented me with, now it's time to do it. So
Mhm.
yesterday, something that I tried, you know, the 72 names of God that I have in English, that one video that has all the names. I always wanted to do it in Spanish, but it's like, yeah, you know, I don't have the time. But now I have to do it because I have, you know, a Spanish community that want to connect with it. What happened was I sat down yesterday and like this translated the 72 names, and now today I'm gonna work on putting the video together. Life now is opening that path for me. It's out of joy because of course I enjoy connecting with these friends on Zoom at night and chatting and, you know, sharing personal things. And now I feel happy to do all the work of translating and putting more videos together because it's for them. I'm doing it out
Yeah.
of love. Before it felt like I don't want to do this. It was not the right time and I didn't have the opportunities in my life. Now life is like helping me flow through this experience and getting things done through the joy of having people that wants to see it. So it's like synchronicity working, and that's where I'm going now. But I'm going out of joy, not out of the responsibility. And this is how things need to be done. I'm doing it because now I want to. Now I feel ready. Now is the right moment. So every time that I try to really get things done based on what my mind tells me to do, it's like going nowhere. And when things flow and they look easy and I'm enjoying, it's just a flow. So for me now, having to go through something that is very uncomfortable and hard is kind of a red flag. It really makes me wondering if it is the right time to do it, if I have all the information that I need to do it. Because sometimes it's like you're perceiving that something is going to happen or something needs to be done, and then you force that to make it happen now. But it was just inspiration that was not ready to be manifested because you still needed more pieces of the puzzle.
Mhm.
So that's the another thing that I noticed. Remember when I wanted to do the letter classes and record the letters, and I have good friends that came and said, okay, we'll be here for you, let's get it done. And it felt super awkward, everything. And what happened was the next year I was just learning more and more about the letter. So then I felt like, oh, now I love to put together this video about the letters. But I was in a deeper connection with the symbols. So the year before, I kind of saw that happen and I pushed to make it happen. But it was not the right time. I was not, I did not have all the information in me to make it happen.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just feel like we need to start reading what the present is showing us. That there is so much information of what's happening, where we want to go, what inspirations we have. But we need to start reading if it's the right time to do it, if we have all the tools that we need, if probably we need more formation or more something still have to build up within ourselves to be ready for that. So kind of reading what is life presenting us and, and,
Yeah.
and, and feel what flows. Feel out of everything that we have to do, what what we really feel and we can get it done because it's the right time, because we are ready for it, and because it feels aligned in our hearts.
Mhm. I
I
think
don't know,
that's
I think
I think that's a huge thing though, that for me, for example, in the last 5 years, I just now am starting to recognize what intuition is and how it feels, and have seen what happens when I follow my intuition or when I have it validated by the outer world. Messages coming back to me like take it's when I just said it's easy, and then I was like, oh, I just got that. Like I had that thought or that inspiration or whatever, like take the easy way out, and about all the teachings we've gotten about how that's awful. Don't take the easy way out. And then I was thinking like about having to, how do you teach people to start recognizing what their intuitive voice is and how it comes through for them, and how to start taking those steps to trusting it
I
and see.
believe I believe one way is to notice what you feel you want to do and then analyzing the reality in front of you and see, based on the reality in front of you, what you think you are capable of manifesting. Does that make sense? Like, let's see if I can put it in other words. You have desires, and there's things that you know will take time. But for those things, perhaps you can take a few steps right away. So when you take those steps, how you feel, you're still feeling the joy, you're still energized, you still want to go further, you still want to try a little bit more. Is reality opening, and is reality allowing you? You start noticing coincidences. So you feel like you are going somewhere, and without judging the speed of how fast you're moving, but do you feel you are going somewhere? Like if you finish that step, do you feel like your reality is rearranging to allow you to take the next step? When that happens, that means go that way, because you'll see that as you walk, reality allows you to enter that path. Now, if you have a desire and you try that and already the first step feels awkward, off, then it's either not the path or not the right time.
I
How are we
think
doing?
that totally makes sense. I'm wondering though, if someone is listening to this and they're like, I don't even know what, like I don't have any experience listening to my intuition or that inner voice. I don't know where I want to go. I think there's also, if you take a few steps back from what you're talking about, which I think is already on the path, you've already started working with your intuition and getting in tune with it to know where you want to try and what you're capable of. But if you're at that like completely like shut down, and where do you go? For me, looking back, because I feel like that's where I was, it would be following the emotions that I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So if something really was like draining me, or I would just was like drudgery, you know, at work, or anxiety because I was expected to do all these things, but I knew there was something else that I wanted to be doing. I just didn't know what. Like, I think our emotional body, our emotional self
Mm-hmm.
is our key tool to that. The next step, if you ignore that and ignore that, is your physical body,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe why I had the stroke, because I was not listening to any of those cues. So I had shut down my intuition, which to me is my connection with my soul. My emotional self was giving me cues all along that I wasn't happy, that there were things that were in my life that were draining me to the point where I had nothing left in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I still wasn't listening. And then I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that there is a connection with those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're like feeling really drained or going through a chronic like illnesses or something like that, sometimes that can be a cue that your body and is trying to tell you that the life that you are living in some ways is not serving you, and it's trying to give you the wake up call.
I'm getting something, but it's coming in a complicated way. So like a whole sphere, and I'm trying to see how can I get into it. um, well, let me see. Um, I think we have to learn to align with what we like and what we do not like. It's like calibrating. Is that a word? Calibrating the compass, or yeah, or the scale, whatever it is that you're using, is understanding how you work. So you need to start with, okay, it's kind of flowing now. You need to start with little things like what food I like and what food I don't like, right? And then do not eat the food that you do not like. Do not force your body to take something that is not aligned with you. So start moving towards eating what you like. Okay, so that's kind of a training. It's like going to the gym and building muscle. What programs on TV you like to watch? And understand, watch a few that you do not like, and connect really with that feeling of, like when my husband watched the war and the killing and all the blood is so watch a few of those and really feel your body getting all the chills and all, like, oh, I want to run away from the couch. And then watch something that makes you happy and notice your body, how your body is like, I can stay like this forever. So now you know what programs you like on TV. Now you know what food you like, right? So what else? Flowers, clothing, colors. Start noticing how your body reacts to the things that you are aligned with, and how your body and your senses, what signals send you when you are in a very uncomfortable situation, because it's not you, it's everything feels off, right? So that way you start with the things that they're all around you. Easy to connect. So it's easy to change a TV channel. So you can start making your changes. And in that way, you are embracing who you are and what is your unique vibration, because you are creating little things in your life that, you start like manipulating a little bit, the easy things that can be manipulated. To then start jumping to the more complicated things, relationships. So you are with someone that every time you interact with, that you are like really feeling joy, like you want to spend hours with that person. Or then you go to, meeting with someone that you're just waiting for the time where you can leave. And then when possible, honor that feeling again and spend more time with the friends that you want to spend time, and start releasing. So that way you are teaching yourself and you are start like understanding who you are. What is your unique self wanting? What who are you? That's what I'm getting. You have to understand who you are, and not to be the person that, I don't know, you created with what information you got from here and from there. So I don't know, it seems like spinach is a good thing to eat, right? And you can see in every TV and every show that you have to eat spinach. But what if you do not like spinach? Why do you have to align with the spinach if it's not you? So at that moment, you have to understand what your body is telling you, and do not eat spinach. And that is you embracing a little bit with those little things. It's you like honoring who you are. It's like you making the decision that you're not going to be a follower. You're going to be yourself. So, it seems like every time you move towards that direction of being yourself, life is going to be showing you what else you are, right? I think I like what I'm feeling. It's like the more you honor yourself, the more life is going to give you opportunities to discover who you are and keep honoring yourself. The more you go in that, this is not me, but I have to be, the more struggle you're going to face, because life is always going to try to redirect you.
I do want to say that it's okay. Like when you ask me the question of what makes you happy,
Uh-huh.
it's okay to not know the answers
Yeah.
to. And you have to kind of get comfortable with being in that place because I feel like every time I level up, I'm put in this like new universe where I'm like, I don't know, I have no idea if I like it, where I want to go, what's here. And there,
But
so
that's
you,
the process. That's the discovering.
but you have to be comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people with discomfort of any kind, if it arises in them, they avoid it and they turn away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make people aware that that is a normal quote
Yep.
unquote space to be in, but it's also a space of possibilities. And so it just requires some patience in giving it time. And and intuition, I think you and I know that it's a very subtle language sometimes. And so you really have to start just opening up, and even if it's little cues like repeats of colors that come to you, like this yellow is all over the place all of a sudden, like
Mm-hmm.
what is, be open to like exploring how do you feel about that, what does it mean, things that are happening in the world that make you really uncomfortable, um, people that come like and bring you the same lessons over and over again. And really, I think so for me, the mindfulness is the key in it too, because mindfulness is all about really taking back your power. You're mindful of what's going on around you, you're mindful of how you're reacting to it, but you're also pausing and like consciously choosing what you're going to interact with, how
Mm-hmm.
you're going to interact with it, how long you're going to interact with it. So it's really taking back your power.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just, from teaching mindfulness, I know that, for example, if you put people in a situation and you show them hamburger and French fries, some people will be able to tell you immediately what their emotional response is to that. Disgust because they're a vegan,
Mm-hmm.
or joy because that's their all-time favorite comfort meal and it
Mm-hmm.
reminds them of July with all their family around them. But other people can't identify their emotions. So one
Mm-hmm.
of the things I do in mindful classes is I give a page that just lists all different words, emotion words. So I just want to include as many people as possible in sharing our journey and showing that it's not just for the certain few, that it's a human experience, and that if you're starting at a place where you can't even identify your emotions, or it feels really uncomfortable because maybe the emotions aren't good, or where you're at in life isn't good, it's it's a weird kind of being present, but with a little objectivity,
Mm-hmm.
that mind, right? And so I just want to bring that point up so that people know that it's not all about easy, like what brings you joy? I know what brings me joy. Everyone's hand goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be that.
Mm-hmm.
And it might just be that it's going to take a while for you to really be able to connect with your emotions and making decisions about where you want to go and what brings you joy.
Yeah. For me, I think is one of the things that we came to learn in this life is who we are. And we
Yeah.
understand who we are. And of course, we are all unique. So you cannot look at what others are doing and say, oh, I'm going to follow that. It's a path that you have to open on your own.
Yeah.
So you part of to understand who you are, it's good to know what you like and what you don't like because that kind of starts shaping or helping you understand more of who you are. So I'm not crazy about fixing cars. So I'm not the person for race cars and mechanic things and no. So because I feel nothing, it's boring to me. So that direction, that door, I don't even have to open because everything that is behind that door, I don't care. it's a perfect door for others. It's not my door. So now there are other things that if I open the door, I know I'm just gonna spend my months in it. You know me, right? So knowing the likes and dislikes help you to kind of shape yourself and start understanding yourself more. But the thing is, it's one of the things that we came to do through our life. So we have years and years of life, hopefully, to discover who we are. So it's a long journey, and it's here as a process that every day is going to be transforming you into something else, into someone else. And every time you get that transformation, your reality changes. Then you have to analyze what is the new reality presenting you. So at every stage that you get into it, it's again like starting from scratch, a new discovery. So it's like a over and over work that we are doing. I don't know if we're going higher or getting deeper or moving forward. I don't know how to define it, right? If we're going within or we are expanding out, I don't know. But the thing is, in every layer of whatever it is that it is, it's like we're starting, it's like a video game. Every level, you kind of start from scratch again, but on a higher level in a way. But
With
you have
more,
to, with more tools, probably you practice so you know better what you're doing. But the
yeah,
challenges are going to be different. There's going to be some of the old challenges, but then new challenges. As you navigate, as you learn to navigate better, then new challenges are going to come. And every time you have a new challenge, you have to start from scratch again in a way at a different level, but starting again, re-examining, understanding what's happening around you again, and adjust again and learn something completely new again.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the world that we're living in right now, the time that we're living in right now, that's what it's all about. But it's
Mhm.
also, I think, I don't know if you want to call it the age of Aquarius, how they're all talking
Mhm.
about, this is the age, beginning of the age of Aquarius. Um, but I feel like it is the beginning of that new age of discovering and living the life that is authentically 100% you, and allowing you just to explore who you are, what you're capable of, and what you can contribute and bring to the world fully and completely. But because we're the first generations of that, we're bridging that the old world, which was all about that you belong,
Expectations,
the expectations, the
judgment.
rules and conditions, the danger if you
Mhm.
didn't comply, the all of that has to. We are the generations that are like unraveling those chains and letting them go to try and get to that place of knowing who we are and what we're capable of, and what we bring to the world. So, that is, I don't know if that happens in one lifetime for a person. I do believe that we
Mhm.
reincarnate. So, um, and it is, I've been feeling very much like out of space and time sometimes, because I really believe that is the point of this life for me. But I feel like 98% of the world around me is still reflecting more of the old structures and rules and expectations. So it is, I think we talked about this last time, it is a very much an inner journey
Mhm.
that I can share with a few people that are also going through it, but it's not this like communal thing for me yet. And even in my interactions, when I was talking with my friend this week, and I was telling her, how I would deal with the situation, and this is how I would feel and what I would do. And then I realized that because of who I am, I would, that situation would impact me differently, and I would handle it differently, and I would judge it
Yeah.
different. Um, But I realized that that was my perspective. And I realized that she and you and everyone around me has a completely different perspective. And it just makes you wonder, like, when people feel so right and justified in their beliefs,
Mhm,
block out the possibility of anyone else's beliefs being right. And that is the world that we're living in right now.
mhm.
And when I sat with that this week, I was like, what would the world be like if we all kind of had realized the uniqueness and the unique perspective that each individual has, and that everyone has their own path that they need to walk with their own lessons and their own um, moments of, conflict or discomfort or those learning moments. They have different ones than I do. And what would the world be like if we recognize that instead of being like, nope, there's only one right way to handle it, and this is what you should do? Like, how can I tell someone to do that? How can I say this is what you need to do? I'm not her.
I feel this is where that place is where we're going. And
Yes.
for us to understand that we have our own unique way of perceiving things, life has to show us those extremes that you are mentioning.
No.
So you are learning how unique we all are because you are seeing how, in what way people are behaving. Reality is showing you a mirror of people believing that they own the truth. And of course, I don't know how many billion people we are, but there is billions of truths, right? So right now, that's what we are noticing. But like everything, at the beginning comes as a conflict. It's just like a lake with still waters, and then you throw the rock, and then it gets muddy. So we are in that process of society being muddy
Mhm.
because now we are understanding what perception is and how two truths can how two things can be true in the same reality,
Yeah.
right? So we are starting to open up to that concept of one reality, many ways of experience it, infinite ways of experience it. So perhaps as a part of this transformation, eventually we're going to start honoring that because right now we are at the process of fighting against each other.
Yeah.
We understand that one reality have many truths now, right? And that's facts is the word that we're all using now. So it's becoming something. So we are at that first stage of which create friction. I think the next step will be understanding that we can coexist, even if we perceive reality in different ways. And then probably the next stage will be to, okay, what we do with all this, because it might be a gift to be able to understand a situation through many truths. It might bring some kind of expansion when we start honoring the different perceptions that we have on one truth. But
Mhm.
we are at the beginning. But I think that we are in these times of conflict and friction just because we are starting now noticing that one situation has many truths and the truth for each of us are our truths, and the way I see the reality is how reality is for me.
Mhm.
So we start noticing that this is a thing.
Yeah.
So one scenario, many ways to perceive that scenario.
And it's really interesting the way I came to that realization. And I think this is one point that I wanted to make too was I feel like there are catchphrases or statements that people make, like everyone's unique, right? Everyone's unique. I
Mhm.
think if I made that statement to anyone on the street, everyone in the world would agree. Everyone would agree. We all have different fingerprints. We all, but that belief in that statement for me now took me to the place of realizing that people have different perspectives on reality and on the world. And if everyone's unique, then everyone has a unique perspective too. And that's what led me. So I think making statements like, um, don't judge other people, or we have to love everyone as our neighbor, and all those statements that all of us are like, well, yeah, but I think when we really live them and to
Yeah,
think about how we are living them, that's when we start to peel off the layers and it starts to expand our spiritual journey, our spiritual growth.
I think because that is now in our minds, but we haven't learned how to live it.
Yeah.
And it's like we haven't learned how to put together that puzzle where all these things can coexist in harmony. So we know there are things out there. So we don't know how to make them coexist, how to bring balance into those things.
Yeah.
So it's again, I think is where we're going to now. It's
Yeah.
it's first, yeah, we believe that our differences are beautiful and it's what makes, life. But how I live with you when you perceive things in a different way. So I'm starting to accepting you and understand that you have the right to perceive things in your own way. So, but now how your perception of life affects my perception of life and how we can live life with different perceptions. So
Mm-hmm.
it will be things that will be easy to deal with, and it will be things that we will have to struggle. But if we think that this is where we're moving as a world, as a society, it might take hundreds of years. But every step we make, every step we take, get us closer to harmony. Well, it's a process that is worth walk, to go through.
Yeah. I saw something on I think it was on Facebook, and it was they had a elementary school math quiz, and they were figuring out like very simply like ratios. So the first question was like they had 8 cookies, and 5 of them were chocolate chip, and 3 of them were oatmeal. And so the question was, how many, like write a fraction for how many out of these cookies are oatmeal, and they had to write 3/8. And the next question, they had little figure drawings of children, and they had to go in and they had to do the same thing and say how many out of the 10 were girls. So the child had written whatever 4 out of 10 because there were 4 that looked like girls. And then he wrote on the side, he's like, I can't just tell by a picture who a person is, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting all goosebumps. And it just was so beautiful because I think the younger generations are already open to that more than we were.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're already questioning, and just the idea of like that when I was in elementary school, it wasn't part of like my world and even conversation to talk about transgender,
Mm-hmm.
or children that identified with a different gender than the one that they were born with. Um, and so now it's becoming so much more mainstream,
Yeah.
And I think that's one sign of how our world is allowing people to just express to the world who they are and be
Their
who they are.
uniqueness.
Yeah. Like there's everything's getting blurred now, and it's not male, female anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much in between.
Letting be, letting things happen, and see how we expand through um,
I
the
mean,
other options that life is giving us now.
I don't want to get political or anything, but I think that's a lot of what the migration is like too. And people are fighting it, like in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So my family's from Germany, And I think there's a fighter jet flying over my house right now. Um, and I think that they're fighting it and because they don't want to give up the world that they've lived in, but it's changing. And the migrants, the immigrants that are coming in are bringing their culture and it's becoming blurred. Germany isn't just a German nation anymore. And I think that's just another aspect of how
It's
we're,
happening all over the world.
yeah, in all different ways.
Mhm. So in pretty much in everything that we are observing now, everything is before it was everything defined, and you can find your box
Yeah,
and say, okay, I fit in this box. And maybe now we are just deciding that we don't want boxes anymore.
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
But it is that uncomfortable place again, where you cling on to what you have, even if it's making you miserable, or even if it's constraining you, or even if it's, making you believe that you can't seek a better life
Mhm.
because it's familiar, you cling on to it. Because stepping into that other space, it's that new universe again, where you don't know how you fit in, where things are, where you want to go. And people don't want to be in that uncomfortable space.
And the other thing is, if you felt comfortable inside that box, if that box gave you everything that you were hoping to have, so someone is coming and removing the box, of course that will make you uncomfortable
Mhm.
because they're removing the laws that you know for yourself that they work. So in your mind, the rules of that box work perfectly, and you went through life within that box, and you felt you did what you have to do, and things were flowing. So now people are coming and changing the box, changing the rules, or just taking down the box. And of course, if you didn't feel ready to do it on your own and someone is coming and kind of pushing it on you, that creates a lot of friction too.
Mhm.
So I think compassion, compassion for the people that are removing boxes, compassion for the people that were comfortable in that box and now the box is being removed, compassion for the ones that are not removing the boxes but walking away
Mhm.
from the boxes, compassion for the people that are inside the boxes and they feel like their friends are walking away and they're going to go through trouble. So calling back. So com- compassion to understand each other because in one way or another, these
Mhm.
times are really changing and making us uncomfortable. Oh,
Yeah. And it just comes back to how can I tell someone else what they should do or how
mm-hmm,
they should or what they should think or
mm-hmm,
feel. Yeah. I just love that example of the math question with the child where he was like, I can't tell who's a girl and who's a boy or who they are just
mm-hmm.
based on how they look on the outside.
Sweet. So how you feeling now about?
I'm still confused. But I think it's because I need to get out my emotions words list and I'm just blocked somehow. There's something in it that either I'm not allowing myself to recognize or I just need to be gentle and give myself time.
Mm-hmm,
Because there's a lot, where you talked about, taking one step and all this project opened up and now you're doing the Spanish 72 names of God and my life is different from that.
mm-hmm,
And you're still to me speaking the language of productivity. And my life is not about that right now.
mm-hmm,
And I think one of the struggles that I have is I feel like my life is about my interactions with other people. So maybe I'm putting too much into that's the meaning. That's my meaning right now of what I give and what I do. And for me, I think my life right now is truly and most challengingly about simply being me, not about the outward interactions with other people, not about what I produce and what I create. And so, whenever I step into either of those arenas, the helping other people, where I'm taking on that, like, you know, that role of helper, I'm going to help you through this. Or if I sit down to write something, or I plan out like social media, or a class, a social media post, or a class or a workshop I want to create, I start and almost immediately I stop because I don't have the energy. I feel completely depleted. Like I really feel like where I am is just being. And that is an uncomfortable place to be. Like some people, most people would probably be like, God, I wish I could do that. But there is a lot of letting go, and a lot of just, I don't know if it's sadness. I wouldn't say it's sadness. It's just insecurity. It's not knowing, not understanding why, but that's where I'm at. And so it's hard for me to say, like that where do you find joy? That's the next step that you have to take. I feel like right now there aren't steps. I feel like it's just day to day, moment to moment, whether it's just letting go of things that I need to do, like, and
But it's
stillness.
that for me too. I
But
don't know.
I'm not creating anything. I cook and and I clean, and but I don't like, my days aren't filled with tasks.
You posted this morning or yesterday the video that we recorded last week.
Yeah, that took me 5 or 10 minutes.
You did it.
Yeah. I do little
So
things, but in a way, I kind of feel like
is it
that's
maybe expectations, Christine, that you're really expecting to do something big?
I just was gonna say, I think what was the flip of that coin, that doing things is a crutch
Hmm.
for me, or maybe for other people too, but it's a crutch to allow you to feel valid and creative or expressive of yourself. And they have taken that crutch away from me.
Hmm.
So I have to feel valid and creative simply because I have moments throughout the whole day where I'm just in touch with my intuition. I am receiving inspiration, but it's not receiving inspiration to put it out there necessarily all the time, although I try to put things out pretty regularly. I don't know. The realization I'm having I'm having in this very moment, but I'm getting that it's a crutch and I need to let go of that crutch.
I can use again the same words, expectations and judgment. You have an expectation of how your day has to be, and an expectation of what you need to get done to then
Mm,
judge yourself as a or your day as a productive day or a day that you wasted.
yeah. And
So
there are moments when I get so pissed off, I get
yeah,
triggered by that. So like there was a spiritual teacher who came and she was doing a live. And so I went on and it was all about productivity. And I was like, that's not spiritual. I'm like, no, but it triggered me. So
I
like,
don't feel the idea right now of being productive. I'm thankful because I'm being guided to do things that I love to do. You know, the passion that I feel for these letters, right?
Mhm.
So now I get to do it in Spanish. And I have people that are interested on listen what I have to say. So I'm not seeing myself as working. I'm not seeing myself as helping others. I have no intention of what the letters that do with them or how they receive it. But I have the opportunity to do something that I love. So I'm not using the word productivity.
Mhm.
I'm using the love, the word. Thank goodness that I found people now that are allowing me to present this in Spanish, so I can
Mhm.
be more with the letters.
Yeah, and so that I don't relate to that at all. But again, I recognize, I see like why, I see why it's there, but I can't figure out the next step yet. And again, I don't think I'm supposed to be doing those steps yet. Like I feel like I'm supposed to just, just be Christine, just be.
Every time that you mention the next steps, it have to do with expectation and judgment. You are
Yeah.
expecting to have next step, and you are judging yourself based on if you take or don't take those next steps.
Well,
So
I don't.
what's happening? It's a lot of things going on around you today.
Lucky I only have one dog. If I had both of them, it'd be chaos back here. The dog's out next door. So,
Okay. So you probably have to go.
it probably
Yeah.
will. I don't even know what time is it? Wow, it's 11:45.
Already an hour?
Yeah.
We
But
don't
yeah,
do this every day. Just so everybody know. We don't do this every day.
no, although we could.
We could, yeah, but we try to do it only once a week, right? We try to manage to only do it. Because I don't want everybody to think that I'm with you 1 hour on the phone and then with my teacher Tati another hour on the phone. It's like,
Oh, I
no.
know.
I kind of put a schedule for those things that I really love. It's like my treat. So,
I
but
love those.
are you feeling
But
any better? No,
same, same. It's a process, right?
it's a
And
process. Yeah.
knowing something and completely feeling it down to the cells is a process. And
Hmm.
so I know that what you're saying to me is true. I know it, but healing that and getting to a place where I'm just free, uh, that's still in the process.
And how about if you manipulate the expectations and the judgment? What is your expectation for today? And you just adjust expectations. And instead
Well,
of,
what I have been doing is, and I think I have released some of that just in the past few weeks because I am just happy and finding joy and not I guilt is a huge thing for me. So, when Rob leaves for work in the morning and he's not feeling well and I'm home, you know, and I can rest if I need to, or I can chat with you for an hour. But now instead of moving immediately to feeling guilty, I am just happy
mhm,
that, this is my experience for whatever reason, and I can enjoy my life, and not have to feel guilt because it's a good life. I love
mhm,
my life, and I'm happy. Um, so that's what I've been doing the last few weeks is just, I'm there for him and I do what I can for him, to support him and, to make sure that when he's home, he's able to relax.
mhm,
But this is where our lives are for each of us. And I just need to be in joy with what I have.
mhm.
So like just sit,
Appreciate it, being grateful for.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that helps you align too.
yeah. So I think I'm just like, ugh, I just I just want to be out and about. Like I want to be hiking and I want to like I'm looking forward to the nice weather and longer days and
Why you're not going hiking if you have the opportunity now?
It's a little complicated right now, like with the dogs and like with Sophie being home, and I want to be here for her.
Going
So
for
like
a walk for 10 minutes?
do that. Oh my goodness. He's outside now.
You have to go now?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
And
I
if you
will.
need, you can call me, okay?
Okay. All right.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.